watching Force 13 Live. Hello and welcome to Force 13 Live. It's 9 PM the current time at Force 13 HQ, 39 Fahrenheit right now, and it's just less than 3 hours until the hurricane season 2015 concludes in the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific. My name's Nathan Foy. You were listening to Michael Scott, as they say. No storms, no questions, Michael. And I'm joined by the team. Hello, guys.
Hello, Nathan.
The voice there of David and of Craig. How are you doing, guys?
Not bad, thank you.
I'm not doing too bad myself as well.
David, early in the morning over there in Brisbane, is it not?
Yes, it's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and a nice start to the day. I've got a northeasterly sea breeze coming in through the door, but again, we could see storm activity as from 1300 EST. But I think the main area, Nathan, is going to be the Northern Territory around Darwin. They could see some very intense storm activity around lunchtime their time.
And did you see anything last night, David?
No, it was very quiet. Craig and I were chatting away for quite a while in the open mic session, and I made the comment that all the storm activity tracked to the north, so mainly the area north of the Sunshine Coast, Gympie, Tin Can Bay, up to the Harvey Bay region, but mainly around the Tin Can Bay area. Haven't had any reports of any damage, but let's see what happens later today.
Yes. Here, the temperature's rather cold. It was actually 55 Fahrenheit earlier today, but then it cooled down really quickly, and we're now down to 39. 4 Celsius above freezing. I don't think we will have a freeze tonight. I've not looked at the weather forecast, but I didn't see any freezes on the cards, I don't think. Craig, how about your place?
Well, we're supposed to get some really heavy snow tonight and expect to wake up to a whiteout tomorrow where it should be raining, which makes obviously the how can I say, the snow melt even worse. So let's hope it does snow but doesn't turn to rain, because that's going to make a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think his audio,
as I do understand it, is pretty frozen.
Expecting
It's
a low
terrible.
tonight at Force 13 HQ, around 3 degrees, probably around 1 or 0 at Craig's place. And looking at the weather forecast for Scotland, eastern parts of the Borders region might be seeing some significant amounts of snow. It does look like a lot more rain for the west, however. And by lunchtime, all that snowfall will turn into rain for all locations. Though that is just in the south of Scotland. Further north, snow and sleet showers will begin in earnest in around around 3 or 6 a.m. and they will continue in the Highlands all day, turning into sleet later on and rain for some locations, and eventually rain for all locations by evening. So it does appear that if you do get snow in Scotland overnight or in the morning tomorrow, it will eventually be erased, let's say, by significant amounts of rainfall later on in the day, in the evening. Looking at Wednesday, lots of rainfall to continue, this time moving down into England, though originating in Scotland. Wales included as well, with heavy rainfall over the whole area. Northern parts of England, the northwest coast, Manchester northwards, along the east coast, a little bit further north, around York northwards, we'll be seeing some rainfall. To the south, across the rest of England, partly cloudy skies. The high temperature tomorrow will be 12 or 13 in southern parts of England, 11 in the north, and only 8 or 9 in Scotland, as low as 4 or 5 in the northern parts of Scotland. Wednesday night, we'll see some more heavy rainfall occurring over northern England, most of Wales, and south and southeastern Scotland in particular. The rest of the country will stay fairly dry, except maybe a little bit more rain in the Western Isles of Scotland towards the end of the night, Wednesday night. Low temperatures, not so bad further south actually. Some places won't be going below 13 all night, especially in the southwest of England, which is very interesting. Low temperatures around 9 or 10 elsewhere. And further north in Northern Ireland, pretty cool, 5 Celsius. Southern Scotland 5, a low of 0 expected in the northernmost part of Scotland. Actually -1 inland at places like Aldnahara, which often gets very cold indeed. I don't think we'll go any further on the weather front, at least with the UK. Craig, what about you?
Well,
Do you agree with that forecast? First of all,
that's pretty reasonable too. We're probably close to what's obviously being forecasted right now. Well, what was forecasted earlier on. But moving away from the UK weather, we can't really look at tropics because there's no tropical systems, if you think about it, that are active really. Only an invest, the lone invest. But we could see a system, or maybe even two, in the West Pacific. There is an area of thunderstorms that has popped up, a new one that's popped up in near the Visayas in the Philippines. It looks like that could become an invest. Hopefully it does and moves it away from the Philippines and does not affect them. But it would be something nonetheless.
and with the loss of Craig's signal, Devon, hello?
Hello.
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 And how's the weather been treating you over in Pennsylvania?
Oh, it was our coldest morning of the year over here. At least the coldest since the winter ended. It got down to 24 Fahrenheit here on campus. And it even got into the teens up in the mountains in the surrounding areas.
Devon, why do you live in such a cold place? How do you tolerate this?
How do I tolerate the cold?
Yes, I wouldn't. I hate the cold.
Oh, I was going to ask you the same thing, honestly.
But your cold is worse.
My cold is worse, and you guys are 10 degrees more north than we are.
Yeah, especially in winter.
Think about that for a second.
Well, we're a lot more moderate, so to speak.
Yes.
You have colder winters, hotter summers.
Yes, we do have hotter summers. This past summer actually really wasn't that hot until around September, when the temperature all of a sudden went from nearly a record cool to a record warm. Wow. Actually. Almost a complete turnaround.
And what was your highest temperature this year?
I think our warmest temperature was on campus. I think it was 91 degrees, and that was set in early September.
91? We got to 89 this year.
91 Fahrenheit, and like I said, we've gotten down to 24 this morning.
Yeah.
I don't think that we're supposed to get exactly that cold tonight. It's not, because there is a weather system moving in from the south, an extratropical low that's going to bring rain, and more freaking rain. It's going to look like bloody England, dude. From tonight all the way through Wednesday, it's going to be absolutely dreadful. I mean, rain, just rain.
Terrible.
We
know exactly where you're coming from with that.
it's like your normal weekly forecast in London. Tonight, 80% chance of rain. Tomorrow, 90% chance of
It
rain.
really is.
Wednesday, 80% chance of rain.
It really is like
Uh,
that here this week. Yes. Not in London though.
Thursday, Friday. It is clearing out with lows going below freezing again. But the lows are expected to remain above freezing as this low pressure system moves through. I believe the warm front is pretty much moving through right now, which will keep our temperatures well above freezing overnight. In fact, we're only supposed to get down into the 40s.
Not bad.
And Tuesday night, same thing, only supposed to get down to the 40s. But then again, for a high on Tuesday, we're not even supposed to get into the 50s.
Oh dear.
So, really,
Great.
flatlined. A slight chance of snow on Wednesday night, but I
Interesting.
highly doubt that'll happen. The low's expected to be 35. That's a bit warm for
It is.
snow.
And how often do you get a white Christmas?
Oh, usually every year.
Every
It's
year.
very, very rare for us to not, unless it rains the day before, we get a white Christmas.
Well, there we are. 38 Fahrenheit at Force 13 HQ. A chilly night here as well. I want to go through
What a
some of.
coincidence.
Sorry.
What a coincidence. It's 38 Fahrenheit on campus.
Oh, how about it? I just want to go through some of the weather situations in the United Kingdom and in the United States. If you want to talk about another location where you live, perhaps, or you just want to ask a question about a particular location or draw our attention to it, you're more than welcome to dictate how we go on the show. It is yours as well as ours. We're here to serve. Now, there are several flood warnings in the United Kingdom at the moment. There are 35 in England and Wales, most of them in Wales, but 5 of them, well, actually 13 in England, 5 in the Midlands, the River Wye in North Hereford, in South Hereford, from Hay to Hereford, the River Vernry, no idea how that's pronounced, at Maesbrook, and that same river at Melverley in the Midlands area. Flood warnings for all those locations. Elsewhere, in the northeast, there are 5 flood warnings here as well. The River Ouse at York, St George's Field in particular, as well as riverside properties. The River Calder at Ravensthorpe, and at Brighouse at Nunbank Wood, and the River Ouse at Neyburn Lock. In the northwest, there are 3 flood warnings in effect. That's where we are, Force 13 HQ in the northwest of England. The River Mersey at Fletcher Moss and Withington Golf Course. The same river at Cheadlewood and Ford Lane and Keswick Campsite in Cumbria. In Wales, there are lots of warnings, 22. The River Vernry in the Mayford area. The River Severn at Cyrsus, or whatever it is. The River Severn at Welshpool, the River Severn at Buttington, the River Vernry at Lansantfraid, some Welsh name, the River Wye at Glasbury, the River Severn at Trehelid, the River Severn at Berriew, the River Severn again at Silsiud. What? Craig, do you know any Welsh? The Lower Dee Valley from Llangollen to Trevellyn Meadows. The River Severn again, the River Ellie at Peterson Super Ellie. What the hell kind of name is that? The River Severn at Poolkey and Trewern. The River Vernry at Llaniminek. The River Severn at Cahowl. Just do Welsh pronunciations for it now. At Aberbecan, at Abermule and Fron. The River Wye at Builthwells. The River Severn at Dolwen and Landinham. Conwy Valley. Diffy Valley and the rivers Mordack, Winion and the town of Dolgelau all under flood warnings. So Wales is under a lot of problems at this time. Looking at Scotland,
Just an update on my HQ. Actually, it's gotten very foggy.
I doubt there are any warnings in Scotland. Indeed, there aren't. But there's fog in Scotland, according to Craig, as he just told us.
It's very thick fog, meaning it's going in snow now.
All right. Would you like me to go over the current situation in the United States right now?
If you'd like to, I was just going to go through the warnings in brief on the National Weather Service, but you probably know more about these things than we do.
Yeah, I pretty much just put together like a 10 or 15-minute brief based off of what I see on the satellite here and what I see here on the warnings.
Well, before that, I just want to point out what we're looking at, which is, I think it's David showing us Australia there. Or was.
Yes, that's New South Wales. The radar is the Australian continent. That's the current situation. I've gone to the state of New South Wales, and the New South Wales Weather Bureau has issued a severe weather warning for damaging winds for people up there in the snowy mountains.
Cool.
For damaging winds over the Alpine peaks this morning. Just in brief, the weather situation shows the cold front is approaching New South Wales from the southwest, with northwesterly winds reaching gale force over the Alpine peaks across this morning. Damaging winds averaging around 80 kilometres an hour, with gusts to 100 kilometres an hour.
Wow.
A forecast for areas above 1900 metres in the snowy mountains.
Okay.
So that's the latest warning for New South Wales.
We will take your questions in a moment, but first, Devon, go ahead.
Okay, just making sure that I got the right screen here. Are you able to see this?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. The first thing I'd like to discuss is your attention's probably driven directly to this huge blue and pink blob of warnings that are currently in the central northern plains. And these are actually winter storm warnings that are, in fact, the pinks are in winter storm warnings, especially along the Sioux Falls area. Snow accumulations are apparently going to be 6 to 10 inches, with winds going up to 15 to 25 miles per hour sustained, gusting to gale force. This is expected over 24 to 36 hour period. This warning is from, let me find out where it's from. Effect until midnight, Tuesday night, so that would be tomorrow night, right?
Yep.
Okay. Here's what the satellite looks like, and the area that's producing all the snow over the northern Great Plains is this blob that I'm currently circulating my cursor around. And this is pretty much the weather system that's dominating the entire United States right now. You see the cold reflections here on the infrared satellite. That's actually the surface temperatures over there in the northwest being cold enough to register this on the satellite. It's absolutely crazy.
Wow.
How much cold air this thing is actually bringing
down. So all
down.
that blue stuff on the left-hand side there, that's not clouds.
Some of it is clouds, but you can see how it goes away once
During the
daytime
day,
comes
yeah.
around. So it either could be fog or the actual surface temperature itself being cold enough to register the blue on this satellite. The other huge area of interest, I would say, is this band, where there are significant amounts of flood watches. There is currently a flood watch in effect for most of eastern Tennessee, southwest Virginia, northern Georgia, northeastern Alabama. We've also got a little bit of South Carolina being in there too. I don't think Kentucky is involved in it. And basically what they're expecting here is 2 to 3 inches of rain, with locally higher amounts expected. There is a flood warning out in effect to the west of Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'll get specifics right here. For the Sequatchie River near Whitwell, Tennessee, affecting Bledsoe and Marion. A slow-moving weather system, which I just showed you on satellite, is moving across the area and is going to dump persistent light to moderate rains. They're expected to persist over the next couple of days and actually end on Friday. Obviously, there's the Turnaround Don't Drown campaign over here in the United States. If you see a flooded roadway, don't try to cross it. Don't be that guy trying to cross it.
Hello.
We can see the blues down here in Arizona. Those are actually freeze warnings in southeastern Arizona, where it says that the temperatures are going to range from 28 to 32 degrees across much of the eastern Pima County, which includes the Tuscan metro area.
And Devon, I was rather surprised this morning, local time, when I saw that there were freeze-related warnings around San Francisco and not far away from Los Angeles as well. I didn't think it got that cold there.
Yes, I believe that these are also cold weather-related warnings. I didn't take a look at them. Frost advisories just to the east of Los Angeles, to the north and east of San Diego and Tijuana, basically in the desert area. And
I guess that makes more
surprisingly,
sense then.
yeah. Actually, most of this area here where it's not in the city is basically desert. And yeah, it can get quite cold down there. For select counties over here in Maryland and Pennsylvania, there are some freezing rain advisories out. So potentially tonight the weather can get cold enough where the rain will just freeze on contact. So you want to be careful with some icy roads if you're traveling out in southwestern Pennsylvania and Maryland. I want to say that these are high wind warnings here near Cheyenne. Yes, high wind warnings. This is also from the same system that's putting down the very heavy snow that is currently affecting most of the Great Plains. Let's see here. Winds sustained 35 to 45 miles per hour in the Cheyenne area, gusting to 65 miles per hour. So nearly hurricane force winds in that area. We have air stagnation advisories up here, which basically means that the winds are completely calm, and the air is actually basically sitting here and making for some poor air quality.
Ooh.
So I would
Nathan.
advise being careful if you're around in the Codeline and Walla Walla areas. I know that those
Nathan.
are up there. I'm
Michael?
not necessarily familiar with that area. Those are the only two.
Could I quickly do a hyperworld update before I go to bed?
Just
Devon will be
and
finished
there's
in 1 minute.
also and there's
That was
also
like a year.
many flood warnings that are currently along the Mississippi River and its tributaries. They pretty much start predominantly in Missouri. A lot of the tributaries in Arkansas, they have flood warnings. As you can see, they're really peppered all over the place.
All right.
They also stretch here into Texas along the Red River and into Oklahoma.
Devon?
I can also see a couple of them in Illinois. So again,
Devon.
just don't
Devon.
drown.
Oh my god. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But first of all, Michael, go ahead quickly, please, because we've got questions
Okay.
that need to be answered.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to be doing a hyperworld update. I'll just
Oh,
put
boy.
this onto the screen share.
Just to let everyone know, this is Hyper World, and Michael goes absolutely crazy.
Well, all my storms are actually dying now, so it's pointing
Not
towards
all.
the season's dying. Though I think my basin's like the West Pack of the world. Storms just form all year round.
Yeah, even though it's 3 times smaller than the Westpac and has just as many storms as the most active season on record there. Funny that.
Okay. Anyways, so at the moment we have active 3 systems in the hyperworld, all in my AOR. Don't get tired of saying that. quite embarrassing saying that actually.
What is, sorry?
Quite embarrassing saying that all 3 storms are in my AOR. Anyways, so we have the oldest storm at the moment so far is subtropical storm Gamma,
Did something
transitioned.
stupid as well.
Gamma has transitioned into a subtropical storm, kind of halfway between extratropical and tropical. And should start so now at 40 miles an hour, should start to weaken and then turn fully extratropical within the next 2 to 3 days. And also Zeta looks about pretty much ready to die, more or less. I think it's just emerged off the coast, or it's just no, not off the coast yet, but it's due to emerge off the coast. And also finally tropical depression Theta, which weakened from earlier today, which peaked at 50 miles an hour. Latest update only just came through now, and currently has will weaken further, possibly staying as a tropical depression, still
Okay.
weakening though. Could possibly turn post-tropical as well. It will affect the Somerset province as an extratropical storm. Locally heavy rain should be expected in most of that area, and high winds on the coast as well. So that's all from me. That's all from me now for the Hyperworld update, and I'll. Do you want me to read some of the questions that have been put onto the
I can
comments?
do that, thanks. Bill Goodin says, does the much warmer water in the Pacific mean a better chance of rains in California? Who'd like to answer that?
Well, during El Nino events, it would make sense to me that the warmer sea surface temperatures in the Pacific would feed something known as the Pineapple Express, which would be just basically a series of extratropical systems that come across the mid latitudes of the Pacific and end up feeding California and Oregon with very, very heavy amounts of rain, and persistently, I might add. I would think that an El Nino season would fuel that kind of thing.
And,
Hopefully so.
I wonder if David could answer us how he thinks El Nino will play an impact in the southern hemisphere this winter, in particular on its cyclone season.
I think we're going to see a very interesting cyclone season. Craig and I were talking about next month, or actually, it's the 1st of December over here. So I think this month is going to see the likelihood of tropical cyclone activity, the tropical cyclone genesis outlook for week 1, week 2, week 3, which is for this month, is a lot higher than what it was this time last year. With reference to the El Nino, waiting with interest to see whether it weakens in the Indian Ocean, but over here in the South Pacific, as mentioned earlier, we have 96p, and it looks like that system is going to be around for a few
What, 96
days.
pence?
Oh, for
Going,
goodness.
Yes.
going via the latest modelling, it looks like it's got a good chance of deepening. Sea surface temperature, I haven't checked that as yet, but I think we're going to be in for a very interesting summer.
Very interesting stuff, David. Is there any more you want to tell us about your current weather right now, or in Australia as a whole?
Can you answer my question?
The current weather over here in Brisbane, we have at the Brisbane airport, I'm just waiting for it to come up. For Brisbane, latest temperature is 26.5 Celsius, humidity is 66%, winds north-northeasterly. wind speed 4 kilometres an hour, gusting 9.
I
Uh,
personally,
central.
just
Go
saying,
on, Mike.
David, just personally, that humidity does seem to be a bit low for the time of year.
No, it's actually high because we're in for more storms today. And my local area is 25.3. Northerly winds 20 kilometres an hour, gusting 26.
Okay.
So
Nathan,
the higher the humidity goes, the percentages for rain. But we will see severe thunderstorm activity this afternoon.
Michael,
can you answer my question?
which question would that be?
Was that the
my
one
latest
where
one.
we might see a depression in the East Pacific?
Yes. Will we see another storm in the EPAC this year?
I think there's
Well,
a below average chance, but there is
yes.
a chance nonetheless.
I think we can just. I think they just about do it. I think.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it might just about.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, we've got the El Nino. It's still high. And the tropical cyclone outlook is actually showing up a very interesting picture.
Hang on. I'm just gonna bring up.
I would like to say at this point that the ECMWF at 240 hours does have a system in the Western Pacific.
West, did you say?
Yes, west.
Yeah, we discussed this earlier today. We did see it. There is a potential system near Guam, right?
Hang on.
Or is
Just
it
putting.
something else?
I would say several hundred miles to the west of Guam, actually.
The West.
I'm just
Yeah,
bringing.
to the north and west of Guam, a couple hundred miles to the west northwest of Guam.
Interesting.
I'm just bringing up the forecast models and wind shear map. Just looking at the CMC model, spanning it through. Doesn't show up anything developing. Then I'll bring up the GFDL. That's a bit outdated because it's only got GFDL on Sandra. But you can look at the open Pacific and see possible new area there, which has it on the 3rd of December. So that could still be possible. Don't know as of yet.
That was from 2 days ago. They can change real quick.
Yeah, I know.
I think you're clutching at straws
Models
on
are
that one,
known
Michael.
to change.
Sorry?
So we've got the I'm gonna bring up the GFS, as well as I'll bring up the NavGem model as well. We'll also have a look at possibly the HWRF. We could have a look at Tuny for on the ECMWF. Looking as though still has it going as a subtropical storm. This was not subtropical, just a tropical storm even.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at it. It's just to the east of Chile.
Yeah, that
Mike, what were
looks
you
quite
saying?
interesting.
I'm just looking at on one of the model runs that Michael's got up, the HWRF of Tuny.
It has Tuny
just-
redeveloping actually, and actually getting a good quarter going to it when it's at around about 30 degrees south.
Yeah, but that's probably when it's well and truly way extra tropical.
Yeah, towards New Zealand. Yeah, it'll be what's the word? Extra tropical.
Yep, extra tropical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
I'll
checked
just.
it.
I'm gonna put on a NavGem model run.
Devin, is that model run that you just posted there in the chat? The viewers can't see this one. This is on the Skype here. That Devin's just put it in here that CMC has a 978 millibar typhoon a couple of hundred miles to the west-southwest of Guam.
Yeah, well, that's updated
Um,
every 24 hours, and the
nav
next update later today will be very interesting. But I find this site 99% reliable.
just
Yeah.
saying as well,
It's
the nav gem doesn't have anything coming up on there. Though looking at the GFS, has a possible system coming off the coast of New 925. The isobars do look quite compact there, don't they?
Can't remember which model said which, but one of them said 925 and the other said 943. So
The CMC said the 943, and I think it was the GFS that said the 925.
Well, a lot of the forecast models do have quite a deep and large area of low pressure north of the UK. At in around about 96 hours time, start of December, looking possibly around about Thursday, I think that is. Thursday or
okay.
Friday.
I've got an update.
That is-
Tropical cyclone Tuni.
Let's say it's dissipated.
Yeah, it expands on what we've already said. The New Zealand Met Office in their latest advisory has Tuni. I'll just read it out. Easterly quarter 25 knots tending clockwise near low XTC tuning, moving from north near 28 south 163 west at 031200 UTC, moving south then deepening with clockwise winds. So Tuni is expected to deepen.
Just to say,
we'll have clockwise gales.
just to say, Devon has said that GFS is a 999 millibar tropical storm in the Central Pacific in 336 hours time, which is quite a way off. I believe that's a good 3 weeks out. That, just to say as well that most of the models are hinting towards that we are going to see quite a deep area of low pressure striking Iceland and also going north of Scotland. Possibly high winds could be delivered to that area. Scotland's getting battered at the moment with high winds and snow and things. So anyways, I'll move on swiftly now to the wind shear map. We'll go to the North Atlantic, and as you can see, that is pretty much a no-fly zone. Little pocket
Well, why don't we just
over the
take a
Dominican
laugh at
Republic and
the Atlantic then?
yeah, well, there's the Caribbean as well. Possible pocket in the Bahamas where something could develop maybe, but it's surrounded by wind, so it's not going to happen in a million years. The Atlantic is pretty much
Just
a no-fly
use-
zone at the moment. Just
have
looking
we looked at
back,
the southern hemisphere yet?
to get into that. West Pacific quickly. You can see
I've
the
got more
Westpac
information.
wind shear map. You can see here pockets in the South China Sea, big pocket actually, as well as
Yeah, that's where there's a little system
pretty much
over
no
here,
share.
Philippines.
Yeah. Now quickly moving
Before
on,
we do
Indian
that,
Ocean.
Michael, David, go ahead.
Michael. The New Zealand Met Office, I haven't checked out the latest from the Weather Bureau. We have a low to form, 1005 HPA developing near 34 South 151, within 300 nautical miles to low, clockwise 25 knots. Now 34151 could be to the northeast or east of Gabo Island, which is just off the Victorian eastern coast. But I'll check the Bureau's update.
Thanks for that, David.
Okay. Just pick up again on the wind shear map. Just saying in the Indian, a few pockets in the Arabian Sea, possible some development there. Both sort of moderate wind shear, around about 30 knots over India at the moment, on both sides of India, and then declines off the coast as well. So possible depression could form there, monsoon or trough possibly, or trough even, and possibly strike India maybe, as well as I don't know, can't remember what that bit of water there is between around like Saudi Arabia, that area. Just dip in the Gulf and the cut. I screw it, I can't remember. I'll find it out. I'll find
It's
out
the
later.
Persian Gulf, Michael.
Oh, there. Well, it's low shear over that, so maybe there's a small storm that could develop there.
No.
Or the Gulf of Orion. Those are the two gulfs that are there.
Yeah. Just looking at the Eastern Atlantic, a lot of wind shear over the UK at the moment, and actually increasing as well.
Why are we looking here?
Nothing's gonna hit here, well, apart from stupid winter storms. That's about it.
Well, yes. Looking now at Western Australia, still pretty much a no-fly zone other than the north, possible around the Indonesia area, and possibly a small pocket there that's too far south for any proper tropical cyclone development. Looks though possible storm could form there, maybe. I think I've seen a few disturbed thunderstorms around there. Now looking to Eastern Australia, Gulf of Carpentaria, the wind shear is declining, and also as well as also declining off the coast, off the eastern coast as well. It was declining quite quickly. Looks though that could have some tropical cyclone development and activity there pretty soon. Not as sure as to when at the moment though. Looking at the Southeast Pacific now, that's really more not really a no-fly zone as well. Looking, it's debatable this. I think the Invest is currently located. Does anybody have the current location of the Invest?
You're probably just about to find that out. But the last advisory had it at.
Here we go. I've got it.
13.
13.4 south, 149.0 west.
20 knots,
Uh,
1007 pressure.
Yeah, I say. Yeah, the wind shear is about 20 to 30 knots there at the moment as well.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that extratropical cyclone? It's down southwest of it, or to the southeast, basically. Southeast of it, of the Invest anyway. Right down at the bottom corner of this.
And you can see the combo. You see the combo Pacific and Atlantic there. Pretty much no-fly zones there.
As you'd expect.
So anyway, that's. I'm gonna head off now, guys. I'm gonna go off to bed. Speak to you later.
Well, have a great night, Michael.
Bye.
15 minutes before we have the kickoff in the Hypo World Cup Day 3. There are several games that will be underway, but we will be commentating on Beach versus Colombia. Going to be rather exciting.
Sounds a bit saucy. I don't know too much about football, but I could help commentate if you would like.
Maybe Devon should tonight, because he's not tried his hand, so to speak. At that.
If you want to have a go, have a go.
I was ill the other day.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, I'm sorry.
Fortunate.
Shows you how ill I was.
Yes. So, just to let you know
or-
what our schedule is, that's going to be kicking off in just less than 15 minutes. Then, at 11:30 tonight, we're going to be counting down to the end of Hurricane Season 2015. That's the actual time it finishes is just over 2 hours at midnight. And then at 1 o'clock, we'll be wrapping up here and going on to our pre-prepared programming.
And then the advent
Oh,
calendars will be coming out, and everything
hold
else will be.
Yes.
Did all the viewers that are watching right now join the Premium Club?
Join the what?
Premium Club?
What would that be?
It's like the most club ever.
I see. Oh my god. 37 degrees at HQ at this time. Guys, anything else you'd like to discuss until we finish up, before we finish up here?
Actually, I
I'd like to
would.
try and bring up that invest that is in
One
the
at a
West
time.
Pacific. Well, not that invest, but that system, those areas of thunderstorms near the Philippines. I probably want someone who, well, Devin.
I did cite them.
Yeah, I probably want to see what your David and Devin's view on them were, whether that could become an invest or not. This is the
Really
area
doubt it. It's tiny.
which I'm talking about, but it does look like, and that I've just updated it. In fact, that now that I've seen that, it does begin to wither away. So it does look like it's actually eroding. I'll probably give it another update. It'll probably be expanding. Either it's closing up, now it's beginning to expand.
That won't develop, Craig. Too close to land.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And then there's these other thunderstorms which aren't going to develop because look at them, they're getting sheared. But there's also this extratropical cyclone that's trying to spin up. But that's about it, I'm afraid. In the tropical regions, it's
I would like to say it's more of a local concern, but freezing rain advisories have actually spread to the north and east up to around the State College in Lock Haven and even Williamsport areas. Although Williamsport's a bit far to the east of the freezing rain advisories. So if people are going to be traveling to the west through Pennsylvania or up into the mountains, I would suggest taking it easy as the rain might freeze on contact with the surface.
All right.
Craig, can you bring up the Australian eastern region?
Will do, David.
Yeah, that is
I'm
one
just
thing we
going to bring
didn't
this up.
see, wasn't it?
This area of convection. It's near India. That probably will not develop now as it's beginning to wither away in the road from the centre.
Disorganised.
Yeah, it's becoming more disorganized than it was earlier on. This area here in the southern hemisphere, South Indian, it began to pop up. That wasn't there earlier. So these are nice area of thunderstorms, but it may sound like everything's seeming to turn. Every thunderstorm could turn into an invest, not necessarily speaking. But it does look like it could become, but it's got a very low chance by the looks of that. And I'll bring up David's area. See what's going to happen.
Yeah, I haven't cited any information reading MJO Pulse as yet.
Oh, hello. Nice area of thunderstorms up to the north there. That's probably maybe just in the West Pacific there. Maybe just no. Is that? That's probably just stretching in the southern hemisphere. This area here, probably only just.
Just that area. Now what would that be? That's about 170 west, 10 south. There is a low, the UKM, they have a low developing on the 2nd of this month, tracking, hang on, what have they got? Yeah, they've got one tracking southwest.
There's X tune it. You can see what's left of it. It's very
sorry, that's Indian Ocean. Sorry, Indian Ocean.
What?
Yeah, Indian Ocean.
Actually, Nathan, I just realized I got to leave at about 5:30.
Oh well.
Because
Yeah,
I got a
7
physics meet at 6 tonight, unfortunately.
Okay.
Just there's X tuning in a really sorry state. Looks like it's feeling sorry for itself there. Oh well, storms do that.
And it could be a low just to the east of Baconville Island. There's one model indicating one to form second, but tracking south-southeast, then tracking northeast. That's
Yep.
one model.
I'm just going to check the South Pacific here now.
Yes, quickly,
there's,
please.
Yes, here very quickly. 96p. Ram and Noah's got their proportion completely wrong, saying the centre's around about here somewhere, which doesn't completely ring true, because I think the centre's actually well embedded here, because there's a lot of convection within this section of the system. Also to bring into notice is, obviously I may have done that earlier, is this area here. I don't know whether that may be a debate, whether this may be in the southern hemisphere. It looks to be in the southern hemisphere. Looks like it could become something, but it's looking like it's actually being sheared. Looks like it's being sheared, and that's probably about it. Atlantic's probably something to laugh at.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Stealing one of the bloopers there, Craig.
Oh, help! Sheared. Very little tropical waves.
No.
No, that's not going to happen. Damn it.
Full on shear in the Atlantic.
Yeah, you can see everything. You can see where the
Alright.
shear is. It's near enough everywhere there. East
thanks
Pacific's near enough, same
very
story.
much, Craig, and thanks to everyone on the team this evening for that 1 hour long, nearly an hour long weather update and storm update. Anything else that you just mentioned there? You just said oh.
Pingus.
Now I'm just gonna bring this up very quickly. This area here. Now that probably might not become something. I don't say that will become something.
I bet
Best
Michael
anyway.
thinks it'll become something.
Well, that's
And
gonna
Craig,
be a bit preposterous and a bit clutching at straws. That one.
I don't
It's a
know.
bit soon.
You never know.
And for Nathan, there's just if you look at the chat room, that's the latest from BBC Weather.
Oh.
Snow expected in northeastern England, south and central Scotland. Yeah, but I think any snow that happens during tomorrow will be rapidly washed away by rain. Thanks for joining us on the Force 13 Live. We've got commentary coming up of the Hyper World Cup Day 3. We're watching the game. Who's playing? It's Beach. David, your team against Colombia.
Oh, wow.
The team of Marcel Holos. Full commentary on this coming up in 7 minutes' time. Our football games that are going on in the Hyper World. Fantastic. Back with you in a few moments.
Go, Gleesa.
No, it's...